Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Hardy. And today, we have a very special guest. We have a former New York City basketball player, I can say that, right?
Absolutely.
And now runs the basketball division at Capelli Sports, an international apparel and equipment company. Y'all need to come check it out. Y'all see the name. It's fly, man. We up here living good, man.
Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Man, how you doing, man?
I'm good, baby. Good to see you as always. You know.
Man, listen, I've been seeing you moving and shaking around the city for a couple of years now, pushing this brand and doing your thing in and out of some very important rooms, man, on the basketball side. I just want to start off by asking you, who introduced you to the game?
Basketball?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's got to be my brother, my older brother. He was a ball player. He grew up playing in Goat Park, formerly the Earl Manor Goat Park.
Bobito, let's go.
There you go, exactly. Bobito, you know, Mario Ellie.
That's right.
You know,
NBA,
champion. And so that was kind of where I got my start of the game and falling in love and being around, you know, those people, kind of seeing that. And then I just kind of caught the bug and just kind of, you know, took it from there.
And you played high school ball in New York City, right?
Yeah.
You know, straight into this thing called basketball.
Yeah. I'm not new to this. I actually started playing at, Riverside Church. That was where, I played with other programs, but got on with Honey Bun.
That's right.
Honey Bun.
That's a fact, yeah.
And so played with Kenny Anderson, Malik Sealy, Garfield Smith, Gordon Winchester. Like, we had a nice little crew that one summer. My man Pat Alphonse.
That's right.
Pretty Pat. So played the AAU, thing, and, kind of got exposure. But I was more the private school guy. I was, I played
private school.
So I started off my career. I went to boarding school. So I went to Lawrence Academy.
Yeah.
Groton, Mass.
I know that's that.
So I played there for 2 years. Then I transferred out of there back to the city. Ended up going to McBurney High School. So McBurney, spent 2 more years there. That closed down. And then my senior year, I went back to graduate from Lawrence Academy, played there. And then I got recruited by the Ivies, mid-major programs, and ended up playing at Cornell. So I went to play at Cornell 4 years, and that was my basketball career. I couldn't take it to the next level,
man,
but I got a good education.
I'm going to tell you this, bro. You had a great basketball career, because a lot of people downplay it, right? Because, first of all, you start off with the Bird, Riverside, you know what I'm saying? Like, not too many people could say that,
yes.
Right? And then play high school ball, 2 different programs, but then going to Cornell. And I think that's big, and a lot of kids need to hear that, because a lot of times, kids don't have no idea what the Ivy League is, right? Tough on the grade side, and also you got to make sure that the ball stay bouncing so you can play.
Absolutely.
Right? So we commend you, man, and I kind of know all these things, man. You play with some of my guys that you mentioned, but it's big. But as you transform to the business side, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we know that the ball is going to start bouncing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
What was that transition like for you, and what did you do once you got finished playing basketball at Cornell?
That's a great question, man. Like anybody, I had visions of playing pro, and that's all I did, and that was my identity with basketball. But the reality is that I knew that wasn't going to continue, but I had to figure out, how was I going to, make a living, but I knew I wanted to stay in sports. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that was important to me. So after I graduated, I didn't have I actually delivered newspapers. That was my first job out of Cornell, because I was committed to not having my mom pay for me anymore. And so, but I was going to make something happen. So I had a few odd jobs in between, but I was still playing ball. in the city, and so I was playing in tournaments at Asphalt Green, you know, downtown, Lower East Side, and so a guy on my team was working for Nike at the time. And I was just kind of like, shout out to Jerry Erasmi. I don't know if you know Jerry Erasmi.
Right.
He was at Nike, and I was like, yo, how do you get a job with Nike? And he was like, either you're in marketing or in sales. I had neither of those things. So anyway, I was kind of frustrated, and time went on, and then he was like, yo, there's a program that Nike has called the Eakin program, which is Nike spelled backwards. So it's an entry-level position. He introduced me to the local Eakin in New York. And what I did while I was, because I also had a job up in Harlem. I was an investigator for a public defender's office up in Harlem, doing, you know, investigating stuff on behalf of people that have been accused of crimes. But he introduced me to the local Eakin, so I would moonlight. So I would hang out with this Eakin on the weekends to find out what he did, going to the Foot Lockers, you know, teaching people about Nike products or whatever. And then a job opened up. And so I interviewed for the Eakin job here in New York. I got that job, and that was my entry into sports. So once I got into Nike, then the rest is history. And I, you know, spent 7 years at Nike doing product. Then I got recruited. I went to Converse. From there, I went to Reebok. So I was doing stuff at Reebok with Jay-Z, 50 Cent, when they were doing that footwear stuff. And then later on, went over to K-Swiss in LA. And then I came back to, there's a couple of spots. Then I went to Under Armour, launched Stephen Curry's, you know, first signature shoe. So I've done a lot of, you know, interesting things in the footwear and the sports and fitness world. But I would say to me is that I didn't know that you can get a job in the sneaker business. Because growing up, like I wore sneakers like anybody else.
That's right.
I had on my feet, like, you know, going to the latest and greatest. But no one told me that, oh, there's somebody that actually makes the color of that swoosh. There's somebody that designs, you know, stuff for basketball players, and that just became new information, but I was able to make a career, you know, out of it. And that's kind of how I, you know, got into the business.
Listen, so you kids out there, y'all pay attention to that, man. Listen, we all not going to the NBA. I'm keeping a buck, right? Probably like 0.1% times minus that, right? Whatever that is. But you can find your passion and stay in basketball, right? You can be a statistician, trainer, you can work for a sneaker company, apparel company, whatever you want to do to stay next to the game. And fortunately, you had a chance to do that. And no, there's going to be different transitions in your life, because my man, he say he graduated from Cornell, and the transition wasn't that
It wasn't smooth.
You know what I'm saying? And I find that with a lot of us ball players, because we live and die with that ball, and it's like, what do we do now?
Absolutely.
Wow. With all that experience in those different sneaker companies, what was the difficulties like in that business that you saw? Because you worked for a few, and I'm sure there were some hurdles that you had to jump over.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I would say I was fortunate enough to start my career at Nike, which was, you know, the granddaddy of them all, right? That's the biggest company, a lot of, you know, great innovation, product, commercials, marketing. And so I think that's where I learned a lot there, and got a good experience meeting different people. And I think the biggest challenge was when I left Nike, because from there I went to Converse, and Converse this was before Nike owned Converse.
Yeah.
So I went there when it was a private equity group. They were looking to get experienced people to help build Converse up. That's when we signed like Chris Bosh. We had Kurt Heinrich in basketball. So, but I went from a real big entity with a big machine, a lot of resources, to almost kind of like a startup with Converse, right? Because even though Converse had a name, they were a small company. We didn't have a lot of resources. We didn't have a lot of different things. So that was a challenge, because I was kind of comfortable at Nike, or, you know, if I needed this, I needed that, no problem. But now I'm at a company where I had to roll my sleeves up, had more hats to wear. I had to do a lot more, you know, leg work. And, you know, if you're not ready for that, coming from a very, you know, I want to say kind of a cushy environment, you can fail, right? And if you're like, oh, this is not me, I didn't expect to get my hands dirty, then, you know, you can go a different direction. And so I think that experience helped me prepare to be ready to do a lot more things that I wasn't necessarily ready for had I not been at Nike. And so I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges in changing that, but it also helped me grow because it allowed me to kind of be more of a leader, right? And more driving the vision and being in the rooms with the CEO of the company at Converse, which, you know, being at the CEO with Nike, I wasn't seeing Phil Knight. He wasn't even having conversation. He didn't even see me. So, you know, being in a small environment kind of helped me grow and gain more experience. And so I think that's probably the biggest challenge, going from a big company like that to a small one. And then obviously going to Reebok and K-Swiss, they all have their different you know, elements that make them unique, but they all pose different challenges just based on the different brands.
Well, look, man, when you joined Reebok, that hip hop thing was kind of moving its way into that company.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And everybody was going crazy for those G-Unit sneakers and Stock Carters, man.
Say less.
What was that like? And what was the campaign? Were you a part of the campaign as well?
Yeah, I was involved. I was more on the product side, but I helped, you know, work with the marketing team to make sure that, you know, things were authentic and you know, aligned with our messaging. But yeah, it was an exciting time. It was like, at that time, I would say, you know, remember when BET Big Tig on the Basement videos and all, like, it was like kids were more interested in what was going on BET than on TNT, right? So even though basketball was happening, that, you know, influence of hip hop was driving everything, right? And so, you know, shout out to Reebok, they were on the forefront and seeing that, like, hey, you know, a lot of these other brands had these big athletes. We're going to put these rappers or influences on the big stage. And, you know, Jay-Z and 50, they don't get any bigger than that at that moment in time. They were the big ones that were kind of driving the business. And then we had Pharrell with Ice Cream. And so it was exciting. Like, you know, you take, you know, a rap icon like Jay, who is definitely a basketball fan, so it was fun to kind of like create product, although, you know, he was a lifestyle dude, so we had the S-Dot that was like looking like the Gucci sneaker, but then it was like, how do you translate and take his interest in basketball and make a product out of that? Even though Jay didn't really play ball, but he was cool with Jamal Crawford. Crawford was playing for the Knicks, boom, so we were able to create a product out of that. So that was kind of a good extension of Jay-Z's brand through, you know, using an athletic shoe like a basketball shoe. With 50 Cent, you know, he's definitely a physical cat, works out, staying in shape. So we made a cross-training shoe out of that to make it make sense. So it was like really taking the personalities of these, you know, musicians, and how do you translate that into sport and make it make sense? And like, if we put like Jay in a running shoe, that's not really translating. People gonna be like, come on, what's that?
He's running the marathon.
Running the marathon, yeah. That wasn't gonna work.
Right.
So it was great to kind of be a part of that, and you know, have those, you know, those commercials shot, and this kind of bridging, you know, music and sports. And today, as you can see, you know, obviously, what Kanye has been able to do when he was with Adidas and Nike and all that stuff.
How come they didn't extend that? Because I was like, when I saw the run in, I was like, and then Kanye comes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it had to do with so Adidas ended up buying Reebok. So when that happened in 2006, I believe, that kind of changed the game. Like, you know, Adidas was like, nah, Reebok, you're not going to do the music thing. We're going to do that. You guys are going to be more fitness and CrossFit and all that stuff. So
was the private equity involved with Reebok at that time as well?
No. Reebok
still had his original owner.
It was his original owner. They just sold to Adidas, and Adidas came in and swallowed them up, and then that kind of changed the direction of where they were going.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. No, because, you know, again, I don't claim to be a sneakerhead. I actually have a series that I'm going to get back to as well called Sneakerheads, where people kind of educate me on the sneaker game. Yeah. Right? Because for a guy like me who been getting sneakers free for a long time, And then when I finally graduated college, and going to the sneaker store, saw how much the sneakers cost, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I always salute those people who kind of know about the sneaker game and have been a part of it, like yourself, who understands the culture of it. That's why my guy, rest in peace, Clark Kent, in Barbito.
Yeah.
He was actually supposed to be my second guest.
Who, Clark?
Yes, on my Sneakerhead show.
Okay.
Clark's my guy. You know, I come from the hip hop world as well. I've been part of that. So we have a connection there. And man, rest in peace, Clark Kent, man.
Rest in peace.
Condolences
Clark
to your
Kent.
whole family. And Bob.
Yes.
Has been my guy. Somebody who I played with, been friends with for years. So that just always interests me. But back to yourself, man. So now you got all this experience. Right, you got all this experience.
Yeah.
People know who you are. They know you legit. They know you know the business, marketing side, behind the scenes production, and overseeing some great campaigns or being a part of it.
Yeah.
Right. How did you get introduced to Capelli Sport?
Yeah. So the way Capelli came about, a former colleague of mine that worked at Under Armour, who was heavily involved in soccer there, he got recruited to come to Capelli. And so he was running this soccer business. He was head of sales, what have you. And when he got here, he had called me and said, "Hey, Mike, I'm doing this thing with Capelli. They're big in soccer, and we're having a lot of success. But I know the owner's looking to get into basketball and some other sports. That's like the next sport. And when he does, I want to introduce him to you. And so, you know, be ready, that kind of deal." So I was like, cool, like I'm here in New York, this place in New York, but I had never heard of Capelli. I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm like, all right, cool. So boom, I get the call, I come in, I meet George Artels, he's the owner of Capelli, and you know, we sit down, and we kind of start talking, and it was like, hey, he goes, I understand soccer, I know how to make clothing, I don't know anything about basketball. And so he knew my background. One of his sons went to Cornell, so there was a little connection there. And so I was like, hey, yeah, I'll listen. I never heard of you guys. Let me come in. So I came to this showroom, and when I came here,
were you blown away like me?
I was blown away.
Right?
Yeah. I was definitely blown away, and I was like, whoa. I was like, so you know, I saw the product. And I was like, and again, me working at all the different brands, Nike, Reebok, Under, I've seen it, so I know product. Like,
but for you not hearing about them before.
Not hearing about them before.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, so let me touch this product. And I was like, this product is amazing. This is phenomenal. I said, the only problem is that no one knows who they are in basketball.
Right.
Like, I know in soccer they have more.
Can we flex for a minute? Can you flex and tell them, you know, what kind of leverage they hold in soccer real quick?
Oh, yeah. No, they're very strong in soccer. So soccer, they outfit about 500,000 youth kids around the country here. We have a pro team that part ownership in Germany, owns a team in Denmark. You know, we're a global brand on the soccer side. We just signed the Serbian national team, so they're going to be, you know, qualifying for the Olympics the next year. That's huge for us in soccer.
And FIFA, right?
And FIFA, yep, that whole thing. We signed USA lacrosse and field hockey, so those are also Olympic sports. So you'll see Capelli, you know, showing up there. So they're definitely, you know, making some waves, and you know, my job is to kind of get basketball in that same vein, right? It's a little bit different sport, different culturally, but a lot of opportunity. And so yeah, so that was kind of my entry into Capelli, just kind of looking at basketball, which is also a global sport like soccer, and you know, the owner's committed to kind of like, you know, really making a headway. And we're here in New York, the mecca of basketball, man. This is it. Madison Square Garden. I'm from New York. Capelli's from New York. There's a lot of basketball here in New York. It just makes a lot of sense to kind of, you know, build things and grow from here.
And it helps because you're official basketball head. It's not like you just, no, I know about the game and I know the numbers and I played the game.
Played the game.
Right? I got my knees and arms scraped out on these concrete, right?
Yes.
Junkie that we call New York City, man. And,
absolutely.
You play with some of the best and you experience what New York culture is all about.
Absolutely.
So, how long have you been here, and what are some of the things you have done since you've been here on the basketball side?
Yeah, so this is my second year, working with Capelli, and some of the things, I started real just small, right? Leveraging relationships. You're a small brand, you don't have a lot of resources, you got to be creative, and relationships are very important. One of the first relationships I leaned on was Ricky Rivers, Fun Sport.
My guy, salute Rick.
Yep, salute Rick. I worked with Rick when I was at Converse, supporting him at Fun Sport, and I was at Under Armour. I supported him there, and so, coming here to Capelli, it was a natural, it was a no-brainer, like, hey, Rick, what can we do? And so we started off with his JV Jamboree in the fall that he did, and that was one of the first events we did, kind of out in Canarsie, so that was like the first, step. And then building off of that, looking at some other relationships that came in. So a buddy of mine who I worked with at the NBA at Madison Square Garden reached out to me about an opportunity with the Throne, which was the National High School Basketball event. It was kind of in their second year they were doing it, and I found it to be very interesting just because, listen, Adidas has a McDonald's All-American game, Nike has EYBL, or Jordan has the Jordan Classic, and so this particular platform was very attractive because you had these top high school teams that were Nike, Under Armour teams, but in the postseason, they couldn't wear their high school uniforms. And so they were looking for a brand that was agnostic, and it was a great fit for like Capelli. So it was an opportunity to have Capelli outfit some of these top national kids in a major event from a brand that's virtually unknown. So that was a big event. So we did the Throne for the past 2 years. We're looking at a third year potentially, so that was great. So we had guys like, Cayenne Anthony playing our product, Nate Ament, McDonald's All-American. We had the Boozers the year before, so good exposure for the brand on that level. Taking it a step further, also, looking at the PSAL, right, the largest athletic association in the country, right? There's plenty of basketball here, and so. Looking at that as a platform, so partnering with Lee, they had the June camp that they were doing. So kind of started off there, supporting the 32 teams in there, getting out there, because obviously high schools and institutional teams are what we're focusing on, because Capelli, we want to sell uniforms, the basketball uniforms for players to play in. And so you got to be where the coaches are, the AD, so supported the PSAL. That led to being able to sponsor the PSAL championships at St. John's this past year. That went on to also to sponsor the CHSAA versus the PSAL championships at LIU. We had a presence there. So just kind of being strategically in the right places where basketball is visible in New York, and really trying to get bang for the buck and a lot of eyeballs. And then extending that and like supporting Rick's Fun Sport in the summertime. Did that for 2 years. Doing some things with Born Up in Harlem, with the Queen of Harlem, on the Unlimited side, Michelle, because New York City summer basketball, you gotta have a presence. Like that was more branding than product per se, because obviously all the other major brands have, you have Dykeman, you have Gersh, and so we want to have a partnership, with an important, entity in Harlem, and we did some things last year with Rucker. So we had them involved in Rucker as well. So, the NBPA, partnering with them as well. So great exposure with some of the NBPA players, like Cam Jones from the Brooklyn Nets. We had Isaiah Hartenstein, in our product. So we have a lot of NBA guys, also featured in the Capelli product. So again, just leveraging relationships, looking at things strategically, kind of how do we have an impact, and how do we ultimately translate into sales ultimately, right? Creating that relationship with the ADs and coaches, because there's more teams that pay for uniforms than get them free, right? And so
they got those logos on there, and people think they're getting them for free.
Correct. And that's not the case. And Capelli's a full operational, entity, own our factories. Our cost is going to be more competitive because there's no middleman. And we can add more value to it. And one thing I forgot to add too is that we also recently signed Manhattan University.
That's right. We talked about
what I mean? That was a big win for us. So we have the whole program, but basketball obviously is the featured program, and so that's going to be again right in our backyard. Really excited about that. We have Felician also in Jersey, Division II program. So we're getting after it, and it's exciting.
Did a lot in 2 years, bro.
Hustle, man, a lot of hustling. Yes.
What are some of the, we talk about some of the upsides of you being from New York, playing ball in New York, having great relationships.
Yeah.
Do you see a downside of that? Because I don't see it being one, because the company is very new to New York.
Yep.
New to basketball.
Yep.
And the only way you got to go is up, right?
Correct.
Soccer's up.
Yeah.
Basketball is getting there and getting the engine under them to explode. Do you see any other hurdles that you probably have to get through because of so much competition?
Yeah. I mean, I would say like anything, it's name recognition, right? What are kids used to seeing and wearing, and the Nikes, Under Armours, and Adidas, they've been around for a long time. So I understand that, but it also represents an opportunity, just because as we're seeing, consumers are now open to new brands.
Oh, yes.
Right? It's not like what it once was. And we're seeing, Nike's having its challenges. You see brands also, although it's a different, category, but like On Running, Hoka, New Balance, people are rocking different things before, where it was naturally by default, it was always Nike or Adidas, what I mean? And so the good thing is that consumers are more open-minded. And I think there are kids out there that also want to chart their own path and not just kind of do the norm. And if you can be the one that sets Capelli off because you're, because somebody had to be the first one to get Nike going, or anybody. And so I think that's probably the biggest challenge. I think other thing is also like, money, right? Like the big brands, they spend a lot, right? But they can spend a lot because they have a lot of revenue streams, right? They're selling in wholesale, like Foot Locker and Dick's Sporting Goods. They sell sneakers. They have athletes. So there's a lot of revenue, where with Capelli, it's a little bit different. We're selling to institutions, clubs directly. We have CapelliSport.com. So if you want to check out some lifestyle gear that we have, definitely go to CapelliSport.com. But that's really our avenue to really drive revenue. And so I think that's probably the challenge, but it's not unsurmountable, right? It's something that we can overcome, but it's a grind, right? And it's still like, even though I've just been doing this for 2 years, like that's still, we still need more time. It's not gonna happen overnight.
That's right.
But I believe that being authentic, and people kind of come into the showroom, people like yourself who are kind of like authentic and know the real deal, like you can be an advocate as well, right? And people kind of, it's word of mouth. We're not gonna have a big commercial on TV, but word of mouth and people hearing about us and just doing real things and supporting the community. I think those are the steps that we need to take to kind of, move forward and have some success.
Well, Nike and these other companies, they don't have commercials. Their commercials are the AAU team, the tournaments, right? The kids, the people that's wearing the product. I think the more that Capelli's out in New York, right? And plastered over everywhere, and in certain venues and certain places where those eyes are on certain people and events. I think the natural thing is to blossom because everybody comes to New York. Every company, everybody, no matter what event, they all come here. And some way, somehow, even if it's somebody else's event and you got that, how can I say, my guy, Tom Ford, and there was another gentleman who had some sneakers, and there was a big event going on in Vegas. And what he did, since they couldn't get into Vegas in the clothing,
Magic show? Was it
the magic show, right? They was outside. Forgot my man name. They got the shoes, and they got the store. They got this. It'll come to me.
Out of New York?
Yeah, I think that I don't know if they're in New York, but what he did was he set up a fashion show outside of the magic show. They had people promotion with the signs, and he got a deal. It'll come to me. Right soon as we finish, it's gonna come to me.
Yeah. Guerrilla marketing. That's what it's called. Guerrilla marketing.
Basically.
Being strategic.
But this is how this company kind of popped off. Well, saying that, I think right now you're starting to see Capelli Sports, right?
Yeah.
I know when I walk into PSL games, or I'm going to Queen of Harlem, or certain places, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the name, and then seeing you around, which is big because Damn, what's up, Mike? What's going on? Right? Damn, you here? What? Damn, who you here? So we at a lot of the same places.
Absolutely. And I know if you at the place, I know I'm in the right place.
That's a fact.
I know that. So I'm doing the right thing if I see you there.
No doubt, no doubt. And look, brother, again, when I stepped up the elevator, I told you, I was like, wow, this is dope.
Yeah.
Right? Because you've been carrying around. The first year you didn't have the book. Then the next time I saw you, you had the book.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, bro, I didn't even know that you guys had product.
I remember that.
And we sat down and we talked and showed me. I was like, wow, this is dope.
Right.
And book is cool, but then when you see something like this, and I guess when once people get to see, all the things that you guys offer and then see the product.
Totally.
Right? I think a lot of eyes will be opened up.
I mean, that's the goal. I mean, like you was here the other day, like we want to bring high school coaches, ADs, we're right here in New York, like come to our showroom. We're right here on 33rd Street, right by the Empire State Building. It just doesn't hurt to kind of take a look and see what we have. And I think you'll be impressed. They'll be impressed.
What do you look forward to Capelli doing in the next couple of years? Like, what are some of your goals? Without giving away the spice and secrets.
Yeah, I would say I'd like to see Capelli, have its own kind of like national high school team that represents Capelli. What form that comes in, got to figure that out. But like, having that billboard of a team of high level talent competing at a high level. That's definitely one of the things. I would say, we definitely want to, get a few more colleges in the New York area, right? Like, would love to get LIU. I put it out there. You know what I mean? It's right in our backyard in Brooklyn.
Yo, Rod, come on, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, man. It's only right. Keep it New York.
You know what I'm saying? But looking at the college landscape, like getting more institutions. I think the more we get that becomes another billboard. And then I think as this NIL thing starts to kind of really expand, and we haven't figured out, what our role is going to be within that. But we're going to figure that out and identifying some individuals or entities that make sense around the NIL. I think that's a big one. And then, after kind of replicating and having success here in New York, like, how do we do it in Philly? How do we do that in DC? And, pick it apart one by one, right? Like block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, state by state. I think that's kind of like the vision, like use New York as the blueprint and then, export that print to other major key cities that are basketball driven.
Oh man, this is dope, man. One more question.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to wrap this up, man. If you can name or give me a name of one person in sports that you think kind of Capelli represents. Not far as sponsorship wise, but far as, you know, we can, if Capelli was a person.
Ooh, wow. Whew. All right, well, I'm gonna keep it in the basketball space because it's basketball we're talking about. Ah, man, if I had to pick a person, ooh, it got me racking my brain. Well, here's what I'll say. I may not come up with the person, but it's definitely a underdog, an underrated player who definitely has tremendous skill. So here's what I'll say. I forget his name, I'm embarrassed, but think of the cat that plays for OKC that was drafted. He's the guard with the Braves. They won the championship.
SGA.
Not SGA. The other dude that was like, I think he was like drafted like 15, like he was like under the radar. I forget his name. You know what I'm talking about?
First of all, when you say underdog,
yeah,
this is who I think of.
Who you think?
And people don't realize that he was the underdog. Steph Curry was the underdog.
You know something? I would say that, but he's with Under Armour. But that's the first person. I launched his shoe. So I launched his first shoe when I worked with Steph. So that's why that was the easy one. Yes, Steph represents
the underdog.
Absolutely.
We're going to just say that.
Absolutely. The underdog, the people that they overlook, that are overachievers, that really have a tremendous amount of success, that diamonds in the rough. So there's a lot of players out there like that. I'm not going to, just 0 and 1, but yes.
That's why this guy went to Cornell, man. He was already thinking Steph Curry, right? 'Cause that's what I look at as an underdog.
Absolutely.
A guy who wasn't ranked, worked on his game, changed his whole shot to fit.
Absolutely.
People don't realize the work that this kid put in.
Absolutely.
All right, last thing that we got to get to, because we on basketball heads, right?
Okay.
We got to do our top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5. Top 5. Top 5 guys you played with.
Kenny Anderson, Malik Sealy, Adrian Autry. I'm gonna throw my man Garfield Smith, Maryland.
Yep.
Maryland.
Oh my God. Rest in peace, Malik Sealy too.
Malik Sealy, absolutely.
Yep.
Fifth one that I played with or played against? Played with.
Yep.
I'm blanking out. I'm gonna say Gordon Winchester.
Gordy,
Gordy because he played at Seton Hall.
Yep.
So it's all Division I top guys, 2 pros and Division I guys. So
you ain't no Riverside guys too. Notice that, right?
Those are guys I played with, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt. All right, top 5 guys you played against.
I'm gonna say King Rice. I played against Adrian at Syracuse.
King Rice to your Binghamton State Championship.
I played against
who was the second person?
Adrian Autry at Syracuse.
Okay,
played against them. Eric Mobley at Pittsburgh.
Yes, rest in peace, EB.
Eric Montrose at North Carolina, and what's my man's name? The pretty light-skinned dude, Rick. He became an actor. Rick.
You talking about from North Carolina?
Yeah. What's Rick's last name?
What's Rick?
From
North Carolina.
Rick Fox.
There you go, Rick Fox.
I just had you say the F word.
Yeah, Rick Fox.
All right, cool. Yeah. That's some dope players, bro. Okay, top 5 players in New York City history.
Oh, Kenny Anderson, Rod Strickland, Pearl Washington.
Oh gosh, y'all hear that, right?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Kenny Hutch. I'm gonna give Kenny Hutch.
It's my guy. Salute Kenny Hutch. You know you're gonna be watching this.
And then I gotta give love to my man Mario Ellie.
That's a fact.
Come on, 3-time NBA champion. Come on.
That's a fact.
That's real.
That's a fact. Everybody that's been on the show except Pearl Washington, rest in peace, Pearl Washington. I had his agent on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and his sister's real cool. and Gene Smith, who guarded him.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Gene and I worked at Nike together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I had Elmer on as backcourt partner. This is the last question. Sorry about that. If there's one thing you could change about your career, what would it have been?
Don't take a job for money, only for money. That was one lesson that I've learned. There was in my career, I won't get into it, but it was one job in particular in my career I took solely for the money. And although the money was good, it wasn't the right fit. And I think it's important to make sure whatever you do, understand the people who you're going to go work with and work for, and the culture is important. You know, money isn't the only thing, because it's just money. You can always get more money, but you can't be around the right people. And so that's my words of advice.
Man, that's some of the best advice. No, honestly, bro, I think some of the best advice anyone can get. Like I told you, what we doing here at Basketball Heads, man, is open doors that I didn't even think probably would be open just by me stepping into this, right? And it wasn't about the dollar, it was just about making a change and having an impact, right? And filling a void that wasn't there. And a lot of times, when it's the money, that passion, that voice, empty, right?
Absolutely.
Empty spaces. So that's some great advice, man. This is dope, brother.
This was great. Thank you for even coming here and wanting to even do this. I appreciate that, because you're doing a lot of great things. I've been watching you, seeing you, and your thing is growing. And so I feel honored to even be in the mix, because I know you're very selective and you ain't doing things just to be doing it.
Right, man. And when you see people doing great things like yourself, right, we all come from the same cloth, right? And I feel like it is our duty to kind of elevate what you're doing and help get the word out there to people, let you know that Capelli Sports, man, is here to stay. They're in the basketball world, and my guy Mark Parker, man, is leading the charge, man.
There it is.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man. No doubt. All right.
No doubt.
That's what's up.
All right, man. You've been watching Basketball Heads Live, Glenpool Harding. We are the official home for New York City basketball. Now you can say that. Peace.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just stepped into the world of